Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. I am in the office. So this week is a busy week. We are doing lots and lots of recruitment. It's funny, I probably have about, I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 10 calls each week with potential physios, potential acupuncturists or massage therapists, or people wanting to work with us generally. And it takes a lot of time to actually screen their CVs, have the conversation with them, go through the process of face-to-face interviews, offering jobs, not offering jobs. It's actually quite a long process. So yeah, I've got a few of them to do this week for really trying to grow and expand the team. I've got meetings coming up this week with consultants. I've got 2 consultants I've got to go and meet with. That's hopefully going to offer a new avenue for us to explore. They're in different specialist areas, so I'm excited for that to happen. We've got to do all of our review meetings with our staff, so that's all going ahead. Also got to go do our team meeting on Wednesday, where we will be finalising what our bonus structure look like. This is such a hard thing for me to do because we are trying to forecast what the future looks like. We have our last data sets to use, but where we grow as a clinic kind of based upon demand, we bring new people in, which naturally increases the revenue. And if we are just offering bonuses based upon them scenarios, it creates quite a difficult thing for us to manage and stay on top of. So we are really going to try and strip it back and focus on what is it that leads to the best outcomes for us as a clinic. And that it definitely is the staff satisfaction and the patient progress. So we're going to start using that as a metric for our growth and our reward schemes. So yeah, really need to fine tune, and Wednesday I'll share more with you about what all that looks like. But yeah, we've got loads of stuff happening at the moment in clinic. I will keep posting, keep you updated with it all, and yeah, keep following. I also forgot to mention, I've got a brand new toy. If you see that on the back of there, this is it's an AI agent which you stick on the back of your phone. What it does, it helps you out with recording your minutes within all of your meetings. We are very, very good at doing meetings. We're sometimes quite poor at doing the minutes for it and creating the action points. We write it down on pieces of paper, but sometimes things get missed. And now with this thing here, it is going to record every single one of our meetings that we have. And I can then send out actionable minutes for everyone to complete, which is hopefully going to be a big game changer. The thing that's amazing about this is it actually records on the phone as well. So if you have a conversation with someone, you can actually record the phone call to create the minutes for the actionable points. Now, there's obviously some legalities you've got to be aware of if you are going to do that. But most of the time, if we have a Teams meeting, it might be on my phone if I'm traveling somewhere, and so I will record that. But I don't know if I'm going to go down the route of recording conversations with people I speak to day to day. But it's so far it's been really, really good. I was trialing it yesterday, and it is pretty nuts how organized it is and how specific it is and how it's able to pick up who is talking. Rather than it just being my voice that they're saying, Jason said this, it actually says who the person is, and you can just type it in quickly who that particular one was, and then it syncs their voice based on the voice. So if you were to talk to me, you need to say something once, it will ask me who that was, and every time you talk, it will allocate your name to it, which is pretty powerful stuff. So yeah, really happy with my new toy, and hopefully it's going to be making me work smarter and not harder. Okay, Tuesday, I am at Whetstone Clinic. I am out in the back at the moment because Amanda is outside doing her clinic review for the quarter with Charles. So we're going to go and sneak out and have a little look at that. And then I'm going to catch up with Charles afterwards to find out how he's getting on with everything. So let me switch this and we're going to have a look.
That's pretty amazing. It's very relevant. So many marathon runners like that. Marathon's an angel, but then there's a lot of those coming up to the end of the year. Why don't we get at least one booked in for the next quarter?
And then we have Nikki here as well.
3.
This one can be unfiltered. You don't need to. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So Nikki's one of our physios up here. How you getting on?
Fabulous.
Enjoying life?
Working hard, always enjoying life.
Good. Perfectly rehearsed. Well done. I'm going to pop out here. I know that we've discussed already about the video, so I will move on. you doing, Charles?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, creepy.
I'm shy. Yeah, I'm good.
What are you up to?
Just doing our quarterly review.
How's it going?
Comme si, comme ça.
Comme si, comme ça, yeah.
Yeah, some stuff to improve on, but I feel like overall just steady improvement. So that's what I want. But I want to be the best, mate. So.
Good man. I remember your interview, mate.
Yeah.
You said
Don't
to me.
worry, don't.
Nah,
Take a little
mate.
bit of time, but
I ain't forgotten about it. You're the only person.
I forgot about it as well.
Only person who ever said to me, I'm the best. I'm like, mate, I rate that.
Yeah. Don't worry. Give me some time. Maybe it need a little bit of time, but I'll show you.
No, I believe you, mate. I believe you.
Appreciate that.
So what's happening at the moment? What's Amanda seeing or saying?
We're looking out at our KPIs, and so every quarterly we have a look at our KPIs, see whether there's a steady improvement or whether there's a stall or a decrease, and then we're just like reflecting potentially why, looking at kind of strengths and weaknesses or areas to improve. So, for example,
Strengths. What's the strengths you got?
My strengths?
Yeah.
I feel like my massage is actually low-key underrated because we've been struggling to get a lot of massage follow-ups, but consistently it's actually shown that I'm able to return them.
Good man.
Package of care, so
Good man.
quite happy meeting the KPI with that. But physio, comme si, comme ça, it's a little bit up and down. But
And why is that, do you think? Is there a reason identified or?
Yeah. I feel like, of course, we're all human, so especially like when you have bad months or days, it can really reflect on that. So
Yeah.
I think there was a period where it wasn't looking too great for me, and it showed on there. So because after then, the next month was actually pretty decent. So yeah. So it's just looking at that, or just like even communications, or I feel like sometimes in like sessions I'm a little bit. So
Good man, mate.
Yeah, it's just helping with structure and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Oh, good. Mate, that's the purpose of it.
It's really insightful.
Well, I like it when people are able to reflect. I say it to Amanda regular, when people are like, what was I saying the other day about someone when you said about what their reasoning was, and they gave a reason of like, it was someone else's fault. I'm like, no, it's not that.
Yeah. You're the person seeing them, so I guess you have to take some accountability.
Good man.
Yeah.
Just walking into a hospital now to meet a consultant. This is a big part of my job at the moment with networking, so I'm going to go and try and find where they're at. But yeah, this is huge for us with the links we form in the community, the way we help with post-op patients, and just an opportunity for me to touch base. Now, this is a shoulder surgeon who we work with, really looking to establish a new pathway with him. I'm trying to find where I'm going at the moment, but I think it's going to be down this way. So I'm going to meet him at 11:30, so I'll see how I get on. Right, just got out of my meeting. Super successful. Managed to set up a partnership where we're going to work together a bit more closely. We've got an agreement where we'll be seeing his patients. We'll do referrals through to him. So now what I need to go and do is set up what that pathway looks like. These are really difficult things to get set up. And once they're set up, it's so important that you maintain and manage it. And that is the even more difficult thing. In fact, relatively speaking, setting up the meeting is quite straightforward. It's then the next processes that happen and me putting my neck on the line. I wish that you could have come in and seen what we were talking about and how much I was backing what we do. It's my job now to go and then pass that on to the rest of the team about what we should be doing with these patients and making sure that the staff know what the expectations are and what they expect from us as the consultant. So yeah, really excited, really happy that has gone so swimmingly well. And now I'm back off to a meeting with Amanda at our Whetstone clinic. Tuesday afternoon, I am not in clinic. In fact, I'm now in what could become my new office, actually. I have started up seeing patients again, and I am seeing them for a particular service which I'm trying to develop. So I'm not going to give away too much in the moment, but I know that there is a huge demand for the thing we're offering now. So I'm about to go and see one of them patients. It's someone, to be fair, I've been seeing for a while now, but moving forward as a business opportunity here, there's definitely scope for us to expand what we're doing. I've got a good meeting on Thursday with someone where I'm going to talk about this a little bit further, about about how we can collaborate, support each other, work together. But yeah, this here is the start of something new for me, along with many other things. Now, I don't get shiny penny syndrome. It's nothing about that. It's just identifying where demand is and then putting things in place to meet that need. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to go and see this person now, and I will keep you updated with how this all progresses. Right, Wednesday morning, I'm at clinic. We've got a CPD with one of our external suppliers. So I'm going to take you inside and show you what they're up to at the moment. We first off got Gemma here with her new headset. How's your headset going?
It's wonderful.
Yeah? Making a big difference? You're very shouty with it.
Am I?
Well shouty.
Oh, because I've got 2 ears on, so I can't hear it.
Obviously, so just talk normal would be my advice. Yeah.
I should have bought ones that are just one.
Yeah. It was quite kind of like, hello.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Of course, you got an appointment. Everyone was like that. Looking around. Anyway, I'm going to show them the what's happening.
Yeah. So they must last 4 times. To be fair, I have 4 less because I
different shoes for different outfits, whereas men are like, I want a smart shoe, I want a casual shoe, and I maybe want a trainer, and that will.
Yeah, Monica. The camera's there, don't look at me. I'm meant to wave at the camera. She's trying her hardest to be a part of this, but not necessarily doing all the right things. We are back to our team meeting. We're waiting for Amanda, who's coming as well. So we're going to report back afterwards on what we discussed, depending upon if it's all positive. Wednesday afternoon, just finished our team meeting. I did say I was going to share some parts of it to give you a bit of an insight into what we discussed. One of the things that we are huge on here is team culture and make sure that people are motivated, rewarded, and aspire or know how to aspire to get what it is that they want. And one of the things that I am constantly trying to work on is how do we create enough of a challenge for people to push towards and reward them for the effort that it takes to do it. And part of me wishes I was able to film some of the conversation. A lot of it's kind of sensitive information about bonus structure and things like that. But one of the things that was mentioned by Amanda was that it can sometimes feel like that if they put all of the effort in and at the end there may not be any reward for what they have done, i.e. they may not get a split of the bonus. But the comeback that I had for it was that is my life every day. And all of this effort that I put into it could be completely in vain. There could be, at the end of it, there could be little reward for doing it, and I've got commitments to it. And the thing that I was sharing with them is that for everyone who works with us, they all have the opportunity or the ability or the freedom to walk away at any point, whereas I don't have as much freedom. Part of the reason being is we have four clinics. They are all held by on long-term leases, which come with personal guarantees. There's deposits which are put on there in order to secure the site. There's money which has been invested in them to get them to the state of where they should be at, or where I want them to be at. And they're all choices I made. No one made me make them choices, but the bottom point of it is, and I worded this a slightly different way as where I was going with, I'm the last person to get fired from the company because I own it, but I'm also the last person to get paid in the company. And that is if we're short on whatever the cash flow is, it would be myself who would not be paid for that particular month. And that's the reality of having your own business. It is what it is, and it's a decision which I'm comfortable with, and one that I've accepted, and one that I guess I knew this before I went on this whole journey. But it was interesting kind of listening to what everyone's viewpoint is on how the bonuses should be allocated. And my job in that situation is to make sure that my reasoning is heard, but I also need to hear their reason, because if I fail to hear it, then it becomes really demotivating, and it's not a place where I'd want to work at. And my hope is that the justification of what we discussed today would then resonate with them, so that they can understand the why behind it without demotivating them so much that it becomes a just an unenjoyable, unachievable task or job to do. So we're going to be discussing a little bit more about what the structure looks like. I'm hopeful we're going to get to like an outcome where everyone is really, really motivated to work towards it. And yeah, that will help us as a clinic grow into the place that I want to be at the moment. But yeah, I wanted to share them insights. I know you didn't get to see what happened in the meeting, but we were there talking about it for almost 2 hours about the reasoning for it, the reasoning why we shouldn't do it, what we should be striving for, what we should be aiming for, what is realistic, what is not realistic, all of them things. It was a really good conversation and discussion, but nonetheless a very, very difficult one from business owner to be able to openly share with everyone within that meeting. Whilst I'll discuss the financials of it, but actually getting my feelings across about the pressures that I'm under. They're all under pressure as well, I get it, and it's that coming together where everyone understands and resonates with one another, which is what I hope will make the perfect place to work at. But time will tell. As next week comes around, we do a meeting again and we talk about it more, we'll have more clarity on what that bonus structure looks like and whether or not it's a thing they want to pursue and work towards. Anyway, I'm rambling here. I'm going on and on. But yeah, it was a good meeting, positive outcomes at the end of it, more to be discussed. And now what I'm doing is I'm about to get onto our recruitment strategy for how we bring on board more physios and podiatrists especially to work with us. Good morning, everyone. Thursday. I'm not in the clinic. I'm back at the office in my dressing gown. What's time? 5:15 a.m. to be precise. Why am I up? You know what? When I switched this camera on, I was thinking, I wish that this was like a made up thing of what I do about having to get up this early for show. But like, there is so much to do all the time. I could be better with my time, maybe. I could delegate better, maybe. But with knowing how much pressure everyone else is under as well with their jobs that they're doing, to then start delegating more things would be, yeah, not too sure how it would go down. But my reason for being up, I've got a meeting later on with a few people. I've got one with our GPs. They're going to come in. We're going to talk about how we're going to get that program set up. We also have a few other people who are meeting today for various other things to help with us in supporting the business. So again, need to prep for that. I need to do a load of social media content, which I haven't had a chance to do at the moment. The last 2 evenings, I've had personal appointments that I need to attend to. They're from a sporting related aspect. But what that's then done is that's then stacked me up with the additional work I have to do. So I'm really feeling the pressure at the moment because I committed to doing that. And the reflection point for that is I'm not going to be doing that in future. Like it's too long. I have to give up 4 or 5 hours of my evening, which is fine in a way, but just doesn't help with what we're trying to do from the business point of view. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with doing these bits which are just essential. I'm also going to do my feedback to the staff, so I'm going to do my weekly update, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. There was a really, really interesting report that came out about clinic ownership, and I want to show everyone what them elements are so that because I don't know if they're going to read it themselves. I will share it with them. It's like a 120-page document. I'm going to try and take the key points which are applicable to us. I'm going to film it and share with you because there's certain aspects of there which are about us as a clinic. So we currently sit in like the top 5% of clinics in the country based upon what we do from a revenue and appointment perspective, which is amazing. But I wonder if everyone knows that within the team. It's all well and good me saying, oh yeah, this is where we're at. But with this document, it will hopefully showcase the level that we're playing at. And my hope is that they will see what we're doing and be inspired to be a part of it. There's some super interesting information in there, which I'll go on to in a minute. And I constantly look at how we're going to reward clinicians. And it actually says in this document that those clinics who offer rewards actually have a higher staff turnover sometimes. And it got me thinking, I wonder if it's because I try and share everything. And is it because when people can see everything, does it change the mindset of what they then expect in return? I'm not sure. I'm talking out loud here, but it was an interesting thing as to the why the people have a higher staff turnover when they offer the bonuses. There could be so many aspects. It could be the location that they're in is why they have the staff turnover. It could be coincidental that it just so happens to find that clinics who have that have that as an outcome. But it does, then makes me question the way that we run clinic and what we do, as to whether it's the right model to do, because I want to make sure that people are motivated, but I sometimes assume that motivation comes from them numerical rewards, and it may not be the case. I know that within team meetings that there is conversations around that people are interested about how they can progress. So I'm hoping that the finding in this paper, which I'll share with everyone in a minute, which you'll see, is just a coincidental finding. And then I'm just reflecting on what I was just talking about then. At 5 a.m, it's quite hard to get your brain to function in a straight way. And my eyes are high and low. So I got whacked yesterday in this eye. So that's the one that feels like it's all wobbly and out of place. So just to give you an insight into how I'm feeling. Now, the main thing that I wanted to share with you is this document here. So this is the CSV file of it, and I've highlighted things in yellow. I'll go into a bit more detail of it. It is this particular paper. It's, if you're interested in private practice and things like that, this is a really good document. It got released about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago. It's got 750 respondents. Now, what I've been unable to identify is the number of people who it was sent out to. So I am conscious that there is an element of bias that may be prevalent within here. However, it is a very, very good starting point. It's the first year they've done it. And what I want to do is I want to go through some specific things. I wish that was, and when we share P&Ls, you'll see what that actually is. It was more this one here, revenue. So yeah, we're in the enterprise tier. Now, the interesting thing here is that we are in the top 5% of the country of clinics in terms of what we generate. You can see here that there's many clinics generating between 100 and 500k, which is about 56%, the core mid-market area. But yeah, we are in this zone, which I hope is a positive thing and something that people are proud to be a part of. I'm certainly proud of it that we've reached that type of level. So we are in the big leagues, you could call it. And with that though comes pressure. There's no denying it. You can't be the top 5% in the country and expect there not to be certain expectations or certain standards or certain pressures. Profit margins here of what a clinic should be at. So if you run as an individual, they're saying it should be around about 37.5%. We last year were at 6%. Was our was the profit margin, which from a clinic point of view and in comparison to this, there's more room what we need to do here, and there's certain things which I know will help with that, but I'll go through it as we go on. And so we need to make sure that we are striving higher than where we're at in the moment, and this is where these targets come from, because it's not a target for us to kind of aim for just randomly. It is based upon data and what basically what everyone else does. I sometimes see where we have 2 weeks away from bookings, and always gives me cause for concern of thinking, is that patient actually going to be coming back for you, or do they kind of drop off from the work that you're giving them to do and things like that, and therefore feel guilty about coming back, having to then tell you that they haven't done all the things that they said they were going to do, etc., etc. So always aim for that. That's why I always say 3 to 5 days after that first appointment is the ideal time frame for some to rebook. We've got here London average initial fee, so we're kind of bang on with what that number there is, so we sit well within there. Then I put here about clinics planning to raise prices within the next 12 months. We would sit in this category, that is for sure. The price increase is usually by 6%. So again, we'll look at that come September time, which is realistically where we'll look at raising it in line with what we've done in previous years. And yeah, 88% of clinics who are at this level raise their prices. Now, there's a high likelihood that this is due to the increased pay to be able to give to staff, things like that. and certainly a thing which I know as us as a clinic, we're always striving to find ways to do it, but it is based heavily on some certain metrics. So I'm going to come back to these things in a minute. We've got, this is interesting, industry average diary utilization, so 72%. It does go on to say in a minute, I'm going to show you a specific piece of the document which talks about where we should be aiming to be at before it becomes unmanageable or unviable. So 72% is what we look for as our average diary utilization for a therapist, and those who have 10 plus rooms as a clinic, which would be us, they're the highest efficiency with 75% of diary utilization. Again, that's what we should be striving for. This, I highlighted this was super important and super interesting. They looked at staff turnover, and they showed that the staff with staff turnover, clinics that have bonuses, have a 15% higher turnover than those without bonuses. And I know that we operate a bonus structure, and did get me thinking as to, I wonder what the reasons are for this. Is this true of every clinic, and or is this just a small sample, which I said that there may be elements of bias in it? I hope that this isn't true, but yeah, it's a personal hope. My aim of doing these bonuses is to help us strive towards where I believe we should be sitting at, to then reward staff for their abilities to be able to perform to that level, as well as trying to manage all of the other things that go with running clinic. But I found this super interesting, and I wanted to share it with you because I want you to have a read of the document. There's nothing for me to hide. The information is out there, freely, readily available. But yeah, it was it certainly makes for interesting viewing. It definitely gets my mind thinking as to what the reasons for that would be. And listen, I would love to hear from any of you lot who would like to share what they think that the reason may be for that, so that I can learn and work out how us as a clinic can be better and make sure that this number here is 0%. That would be my ideal number. But yeah, ideal worlds don't always happen, unfortunately. So yeah, so a typical patient attends 5 sessions, or 5.5 sessions on average. The low retention clinics are average 4 sessions or fewer per patient. So that is not just our private healthcare ones. This is our self-funded as well. To put it into context, we did last week, I think we had 80% self-funded and 20% or so were private healthcare. And the summary point here is a thing I really wanted to draw attention to. Most clinics operate in the 4 to 6 session range. If a clinic is, sorry, I'm doing this really early, so I can't get my words out. If a clinic is averaging fewer than 4 sessions, they are significantly below the industry norm, potentially undertreated. I think that's a key thing here. If they're averaging over 6, they're in the top tier for retention, potentially better clinical outcomes or more effective rebooking processes. They're unsure which one. This is pretty clear signal for clinics who are in the 4 range. Something is not working. You need to look into it. Like, are we delivering on what it is that we said we should be doing based upon our 4-point promise? This was a important thing as well. The price impact is limited. Analysis does not show any major impact of price on patient rebooking rate. So thinking that can people afford it, or are we too expensive? There is nothing out there to suggest that is the reason. What people are interested in, I think it says it here. Yeah, surprisingly, external factors have very little impact on rebooking. The data shows almost zero correlation with any of the typical business metrics. It says, since none of the business metrics drive rebooking, the data strongly implies that rebooking is driven by clinical skills and communication, the soft skills that happen inside the room, which are harder to measure. And here, you cannot buy a higher rebooking rate with software or lower prices. It's purely a reflection of the trust established in the first session. I almost thank these people for putting it, and that's not me trying to be patronized or anything like that. That is it. It all comes down to that one line there. Now, you might argue here, I'm cherry picking information. You can read the paper and go through the different parts to see for yourself what the expectations are within clinic. And I share this openly because I 1,000,000,000% believe in transparency. I want you all to be knowledgeable. I want you all to understand it, because
if you can understand what the pressures are of the business, you can understand where the expectations come from. If this was easy and every day was a joyous day with no problems and we didn't have all of these outgoings, you probably wouldn't hear from me much, because I just say, but it's just not like that. And these things are really, really good to share with you, so you can see for yourself and speak to other business owners as well, if that also helps. But there's I honestly don't want to hide anything of what we do, in the hope that, as I said, you seeing it will then understand where the pressures and demands come from. Yeah, in the overload group, anything above 80% of capacity on a diary, it becomes very, very difficult to sustain. So we get the burnout situation occurring. And it's definitely a thing. So here, if your diary is 80% full, be cautious about trying to fill the gaps. Instead, explore raising our prices or adding some capacity, i.e. hire another clinician. You are almost operationally full. And now I look through diaries and I can see that is occurring. And I understand again that everyone is under pressure. We are very, very busy at the moment and people are trying to squeeze patients in. I do get it. I do understand. But as I say, this is why we try and offer the bonuses, because if we're very, very good at what we do, you should be rewarded for your the impact that you're having on the business of driving us forward. Thinking about all the metrics we spoke about there. But we have to see that occur for that to happen. I know that clinic managers are going through with everyone at the moment about the pay progressions, and there's certain metrics you have to meet to be able to fit into that. But what I'm looking for is consistency. What I don't want to do is, I don't want to just say, right, we're going to jump it up, and then we see a drop off in people's kind of willingness. I'm not for a second thinking that it would happen, but what I don't want to be doing is be in a position where that drop off occurs and we then have to turn around and say, okay, we're gonna bring it down now, because it just doesn't make for a happy environment. So I hear all of the pressures that you're under. I understand everything. I genuinely do. But I would love for you to go through and read some of these things, because me reading it, I'm like, this is all so true. There's loads of good information here. The critique is this cherry picked? Is it certain people who have fed into it, who have a passion about it and want to share the difficulties, the hardships, the positives, and then there's a lot of people who may not have completed. I didn't complete any information on this. I didn't even know it was happening. So yeah, I do take it with a pinch of salt, but it is interesting how it does fit the narrative that I'm aware of quite well. But again, I'm then conscious that is if I've put my critical thinking hat on, is not necessarily a measure of what makes a good pay, because it fits what my bias is. Anyway, so this is the name of the survey. Please do have a look at it. I know you've got, so that kind of concludes what we're talking about today. I know you've got meeting. Okay, everyone. The first part of that meeting, it didn't record there, so I'm going to be jumping into this meeting about partway through it and just chopping it up anyway to give you some of the snippets of it. Very, very difficult doing this particular meeting when talking to a screen. I've got no emotional feedback from people. I've got no opportunity for them to answer questions. Normally, if you're presenting, you can get some feedback from the staff for how their faces are and etc. So when I'm talking, I'm saying stuff, and there is a fear within inside me that, am I saying too much here? Because I'm just sharing what's in my head, trying to share it as openly as possible. But people may be listening to it and thinking, don't like what he said there. That doesn't make me feel too happy, and I've not got an opportunity to be able to address it in the room. So yeah, I'm always get an element of anxiety when I'm talking, thinking, am I saying too much? But I don't want to live or run this business in a position of lack of transparency. Personally, I feel if someone isn't transparent with stuff, that then resentment can build or assumptions can grow. I want people to be able to ask the question. It's what I've learned best from my previous working career, and I think back to where I was at, about one place so open, so honest about everything, and then the other place not so much, and how I felt towards that. So I always wanted to make sure that the way I ran this business was like that first place I ever worked with. They were so good. I'd always go, it was 15 years ago or so now, I'd always go back and help them out even today because of how I was made to feel. And I want the same of this. And interestingly, at that place, they had much higher standards than my last place I went to. But I still look back at them and think, yeah, that's a place. And maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe not everyone wants to live in that high demand environment. And yeah, kind of it is what it is. Like there's certain jobs in the world which aren't suited to some people. I hope that's not a case for us. I hope that everyone in here is super happy and is driving towards the same objective and feeling rewarded. That's the main thing. Do people feel rewarded for what they do? And that's a big part of what my job is, to make sure that happens on a regular basis. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's the end of that update, and I will, let's go and do our day and see what occurs. Right, 9 o'clock. I am sitting outside our Colindale clinic. We've got a bit of a shortage of supplies at the moment, so I bought the stuff up here for that. But these are the hidden things that happen as part of running your own business, like the extra work that goes in beyond the hours that most people may choose to work. Bear in mind, I started at 5 this morning with doing some updates. It's now 9 o'clock. They're normal. They're becoming more normal days. And listen, I only shared it to show what it's actually like. I constantly say this isn't like a boohoo me, like play the violin moment. It's the aim of what I'm doing here is to share what we do, how we do it, get some advice if it could actually be better. I'm sure I could do things like this much better and have a better way of planning and organising. But we have such demand at the moment that we don't actually have enough staff on board to be able to meet what that demand is. We're trying to find better ways of working and looking at where we can recruit, certainly within the physio area, to help shift some of that demand from other therapists who take on more responsibility roles within the business. That would help them mitigate these situations. But right now, it's kind of a lot of hands on deck with managing costs, managing the kind of workload, and trying to find the balance so that everyone's happy and the business becomes sustainable for the long term. So yeah, that is, I don't know how I've managed to get on to talking about that, but yeah, I'm sitting outside Colindale at the moment. I'm waiting for that door to open, and even talking about this here, that door still hasn't opened. And what's going to happen is, as I'm saying something, someone's going to come. So I'm going to check out now and try and get myself in. I figured that whilst I'm driving back, I will give a quick summary and update of my day. I managed to get into Colindale, as you may or may not be aware. It's 20 minutes after I did that last video. But my day today is, I started the day off with a interview with some people who are looking at working with us in various capacities, which was really positive. Then had to do my preparation for our quarterly review with one of our clinic managers, so went through all the details for that. Then had a meeting with a GP who is looking at coming on board to work with us. We're trying to aim for May as a start date for that. That'll be a really, really good point, because we're trying to push for the CQC date, CQC recognition as well. And her coming on board will be the start of that journey into that new world, which is really exciting. I then carried out more interviews for some help within the finance area of our business. And so, spoke to 3 people about that, which was interesting, and talking about how they might be able to help us out with that. Then we had another face-to-face interview with someone more from an operational point of view, again, where they'd be working on a consultancy basis with us to come in and just offer some little hints here and there of what we could do better as a business. I say like a business coach. Is it a business coach? I'm just trying to get people in who have been there and done it, and lean on their experience for how they can help grow us as a business. So yeah, that's their avenues I explore. Listen, whether anything happens with it, I don't know, but always worth to have the conversation, hear how they think they can help us, and then the ones that sound like they can, then go with them. Then had a interesting meeting, which I actually tried to organise. Oh, that's another thing. I had a conversation as well with another company who offers podiatry and was looking about how we might potentially be able to merge our businesses together. They've got some of their own difficulties and struggles at the moment, and from talking to them, they're interested in potentially joining forces with us and coming under our umbrella and working there. But actually magic, I guess, which would be a great addition to what we're trying to do. But then I also spoke to another service provider, and they provide home visits. And that was a really interesting conversation again about how we could potentially collaborate together so that they would lead on our home service, physiotherapy stuff, whilst we take care of the in-clinic stuff. It's just trying to piece together the structure of it, which would be the more difficult thing. But what it does do is it provides another avenue to us as a business where I can have someone else in charge leading that, then being rewarded for it, and us, as I say, growing that particular side of our service business to complement what we do at the moment. So all in all, busy day, but this is what I want to be spending my time with, is networking, building relationships, speaking to different people, finding out how we are able to complement each other's business without just trying to start my own thing every time. It's a big learning thing I've done recently, of mainly through the books that I read, if I'm honest, about thinking, okay, I could try and do it all by myself, but actually there's probably better people out there who are really interested in that particular area, who we can utilize their skill set in order to help them grow as individuals and potentially as companies, and also us grow as a company as well. So yeah, all things I'm exploring. But yeah, that was that. Tomorrow I am on our home visit schedule. I have got a full day of clinic as such, where I'm going to different homes to visit and see how they're getting on. Unlikely I'll be able to do much filming during then, if I'm honest, just because of the nature of what I'll be doing, and I can't hold a camera whilst I am helping people who are 2 weeks out of surgery and trying to help them with mobility for their spine and their knee. And I've got another one, I can't remember what the reason is for that. I'll have a look at the notes when I get home. But yeah, so I've got a busy day tomorrow, and then I've got some more people to speak to in the evening about ways that they can help us as a business. So it's a busy day on Friday, and I will do as much updating as I possibly can.